Welcome to Improve Your Students' Assignment and Discussion Responses, Increase Student Course Satisfaction, Decrease Your Workload. I am Richard Smith, Senior Contributing Faculty Member at Thewalden University. So the goal of this presentation is to help faculty members increase the quality of your students' responses to course module assignments and discussions. As we all know, most of the time, the responses that students make to assignments and discussions can be improved. So, to be precise, the need is that the assignments that students submit sort of wander about the actual requirement of the assignments. And if they meet the assignment requirements, some of the parts of what they write are in far more detail than other parts of what they write. Also, they tend to wander about, and what they submit does not match a common order of content to the course assignments and discussions. In other words, student A may put part B of the assignment in the part A position and part D in the C position, and so on and so forth. So the solution is really quite simple. Turn the assignments into a set of prompts. And this process is completed by adding an introduction section before the prompts begin and a conclusion section at the end of the prompts, followed by a prompt for the assignment discussion references. So what does this look like? In this example, you can see that here is the introduction, and here is what the student would write, a part of what the student would write under the introduction. And here is the first prompt: identify the content area of the lesson, grade level, and concept being introduced. By the way, this comes from one of the courses that I teach, EDUC 6619. And then the second prompt is explain why you selected the routine. I chose this routine because it ties in closely. And in essence, the prompts are used to structure an essay or the essay that they write in response to any module assignment or discussion assignment that they encounter in the course. So if I were to pull away those prompts, what I should be left with is a well-written essay. The prompts form a kind of scaffold for the essay. You always have to remind the students that they are writing an essay, and if you take away the prompts, they should be, I should see, the instructor should see, and they should see a well-written essay. So this results in the fact that the instructor no longer has to search each assignment in detail to find the various required parts of the assignment that the student is supposed to submit. Since students sort of wander around as they write, the prompts structure what they write, and that means that you can easily see if they have responded to each part of the assignment, module assignment, or a discussion assignment. This means that it takes you a lot less time to read and grade what the students have written. And that time can be put to use in increasing the quality and quantity of the comments that you make on their assignment submissions. And when you do that, the students get a feeling that you are really paying attention to what they have written and that you care very much about their responses. Now, to do this, you have to be very, very specific with the students. During the first week or two, some students won't get it, and you will simply have to repeat the instructions to them. Now, how do you get the instructions to use them? How do you get the students to use the instructions? The first place that you should start is with the course announcements. This is what the students see in my course. Format your assignments in this manner. Use the module assignment prompts. And then I tell them up front, you must format your essay responses to the course module assignments by copying and pasting the associated essay assignment prompts contained in the module. Sometimes the students at the very beginning like to modify the prompts or shorten them. Don't let them do this because you will be confused by what they have, how they have modified the prompts. Tell them, make certain that they copy and paste the prompts as you have given them. Another thing that the students like to do is to take all the prompts and put them at the top of their papers as a stack. Well, that's not doing anybody any good. They have to make certain that they place the prompt directly above the response that the prompt requires. Then I tell them, and this is in red, use of the module assignment prompts is required for module assignment essays submitted as part of this course. And the same thing applies for the discussion prompts. You must use them. I create the prompts myself from what is in the course. Previously, in years past, I had the students figure out the prompts for themselves, but that proved to be too complicated. So it's important to make the prompts easily accessible for your students. To do that, I put the prompts in doc sharing. And this is what it appears, this is how it appears in doc sharing. I upload the prompts as files. And for example, here are all the discussion prompts. And here's the attached file for the discussion prompts for the course. And I also include a model discussion response on the part of a student. So this is what it looks like in doc sharing. I give the students the directions once again for each individual discussion, copy and paste the prompts in order. And then after the directions are repeated, I have the prompts that follow. For example, the Module 1 discussion prompt. Here is the introduction, and here is the first prompt, or rather the second prompt, as the introduction is the first prompt. Is an inclusive classroom the best placement for every student? Number 2, how might you communicate with families, and so on and so forth, until we reach the conclusion and the references. Remember, if the students take away the prompts, I should be left with a well-written essay response to the assignment. I also include a model discussion response that the students can see so they get the idea of what their response should, or how their response should appear. So here is a model discussion response for Module 3, the first discussion. Here is the introduction, and it's followed by the student response. Obviously, this response is written in what we call dummy text, which is text used by printers to set up pages that need to be printed. I think it's based on Old Latin, but in any event, I try to make the example response about the size of the response that I expect the students to provide. So here's the introduction, followed by the first prompt. Post a description of a time when you had difficulty communicating with another adult about a student with special needs in your class. And here is the response that the student would write, but using dummy text. Nam matis gestas vel consecutor, which I believe is Old Latin. Now you have to make the students aware of the prompts and that they have to use them. In order to do this, in addition to my welcome to the class email, I send a PreOrganizer email to my students on the first day that the course is available to them. And This is what it says. It announces that it is a PreOrganizer email, that they will receive an email, an official welcome to the course email on the first day of the course, and it will be very detailed, and that they need to follow and adhere to the information and directions contained in that welcome to the course email. You know, many times students don't even bother to open the welcome to the course email that they receive, or if they do, they just scan it briefly and then return to the course itself. And I tell them, do not assume that it contains the same type of information that has been sent to you in other welcome to the course emails. It does not. And I remind them that they have to read all the announcements contained within the course announcements link. And because it does not contain the same information that course announcements contain in their previous courses. And I also tell them to make certain that they do not delay the start of their assignments to the last minute. Now, they will also receive an official welcome to the course email, and that contains highly detailed information regarding the use of the prompts. It tells them exactly what they need to do, how to create the prompts, where the prompts are located, what I expect them to provide in their essays and discussions. I emphasize once again to start their responses to assignments and discussions early and not to delay until the day that the assignments are due, because that is a prescription for disaster. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong when assignments are submitted at the last minute. All that is contained in the welcome to the course email. Now, most of the students in the classes that I teach respond to the first assignment using the prompts. Some of them do not. They completely leave off the prompts and just write as if they were writing for another course. In that case, I send them an email saying, thank you for submitting your first module discussion assignment. Now you need to resubmit it, formatted according to the directions located in the course announcements. And I remind them that you need to read and follow all the course directions that are in the course announcements. I probably have to repeat this several times by the start of the course. By the end of the course, everybody uses the prompts. How do you get the prompts from assignments and discussions? Well, in many cases, it's very easy to obtain the prompts. This is the actual assignment here. Post a brief summary of your thoughts and experiences, and it's followed by bulleted items that describing what is expected in the response. Those become the prompts. Frequently, students will respond, they will write according to what it says in to prepare, and if you don't use the prompts. So here's an example of the prompts as presented to the students. Here's the introduction. Here's the first prompt. Can every lesson, learning, activity, and assessment be effectively differentiated? Here's the second prompt, and so on and so forth. Conclusion and references. I also have a special post in my course assignments saying that if you submit any assignment and discussion, you make certain that you include references in it. Sometimes you'll find that the prompts are not clearly written, as for example here. Is that these are the prompts. It says post a description of a time when you had difficulty communicating with another adult. Well, you can see right off there are no bulleted items here. That means that you as the instructor have to create the prompts rather. So for example here, post a description of a time when you had difficulty, and so on and so forth. That's the first prompt. Second prompt that I pulled out of that item is identify one or more communication skills that would have helped. Third prompt that I pulled out of there described any barriers to effective communication that exist in your at your school, the conclusion and the references. By the way, have your students disregard this type of due date wording. By day 7 of week 4, that's when the assignment is due. That's how it's usually phrased in Walden courses. That can make for problems because many times students cannot figure out the correct due date from that rather ambiguous statement. What I do is go to the course calendar. I call up the calendar for my course by clicking here, and then all the dates of the assignments are immediately show up. If I right click or left click on this, the actual date and time of the assignment is revealed. I copy and paste that as the same here, here, and here, and here into a table. So the module 1 discussion is due on this date by this time. And this is what I derived from the previous slide, going to the course calendar. And here are all the due dates and the due times. I post them in the course announcements so nobody can be confused about when an item is due. The only problem is, of course, they have to keep in mind that they must submit by 1:59 a.m. on the due date, not 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the due date, because if they do that, their assignment will be marked late. And down here is the explanation for that. For late assignments, I take off 1/2 point for each day that a module assignment is submitted late. For discussion assignments, I give them the grade of 0 if they submit late, and that is because if they submit their discussion assignment late, they have not participated in the discussion. I also have several examples of what students have written me regarding their experiences when submitting assignments late. This was submitted to me by one of my students in a previous class. And right here it says, I come into my bedroom and see my MacBook floating in a puddle of bubble solution and my 2-year-old asleep next to it. So she's saying that it's a true story that if something can go wrong for a deadline, it will. It's possible. I have 2 other letters from students in my course. Of course, that still doesn't stop students from submitting close to the due date, but I try. The services of the Walden Writing Center, you should take advantage of that. And one of the key services is help with creating transitions. They can help your students create transitions between the prompts so that they are what they submit flows as a regular essay. My best advice to you, if you haven't already, get yourself a 27-inch monitor because you can edit several documents at the same time, keeping each open, and they are all sized large enough that you can see easily. And when you create your new courses from the previous course that you taught, you can very easily copy and paste into your new course. Also, be aware of Safeassign. Safeassign will indicate that students have additional information that has been copied from other areas. However, the problem is that they are using prompts that other students are using, and that adds to the amount of information that appears to have been copied from another source. So make certain you, when you check Safeassign, keep that in mind. That's it for today. I hope you have gained something from my presentation.